graduating in 2008, the day after graduation, I went to Camp Kesem for a week, and then like quite literally the next day I hopped on a plane and came to New York. Didn't have a job, didn't have any contacts really, and it took me probably a good year to feel like I had actually arrived. In 2010, I auditioned for Doug Elkins, and immediately I stepped in the room and I'm like, these are my people. This is the company that I want to be dancing for. And callback after callback, I ended up getting that job, and have been dancing and touring with Doug Elkins' company for the past 4 years, which has been phenomenal. I feel like that has been one of the single most significant things in terms of my dance history, because it allowed me to like arrive. Last year I co-produced my first like full evening length dance at the Duo Theater in New York, and you just try to keep the momentum going. So I'm currently choreographing, and I'm currently dancing and touring with Doug, and currently taking class and continuing to be an active part of my community. And you continue to find the things that inspire you and excite you. I think art is huge. I think it's everything that I think it helps us process the world we live in. I think it helps us try to make that world better. I think it helps us express the things that we don't necessarily have the specific language or ability to express via any one thing. I think art encompasses all the different avenues that we can express something. I think it's huge. So if humans are this thing that needs to communicate, needs to externalize what we are and what our experience is, I think art is the way that has endured to do that, including everything from language to visualization to cooking to dance to be as full-bodied and externalize every part of human existence. I just got back last week from a 3-week choreographic residency at the Yard in Martha's Vineyard, where I started a new piece with 3 collaborators and dancers. So these types of residencies, to be able to go in a place and sit there and be there for 3 weeks and use as much rehearsal time as you possibly can, is really significant, because it allows you to delve so much more deeply, so much more quickly with this group of people. And so the things that end up kind of synergistically synthesizing while you're there end up being really significant. So I just got back from the Yard a week ago, and I'm really excited. We started developing a new piece. We have about 30 minutes of a new piece that we developed in those 3 weeks, and really excited to push that and try to get that, both develop the work further and give it a little bit of traction, potentially take it on tour, definitely try to produce a season in New York at some point over the next year or two. But these processes take years. I would tell myself that a lot of the dance world is actually existent as gray. I think I had this understanding, and I think that a lot of students still have this understanding, because this is maybe at one point what the dance world was. But I think there's this understanding that you either are going to come to New York and get a job, or move to a city and get a job as a full-time dancer, or not. You'll either be working or you're not. And in fact, it's never quite that black and white. It always exists somewhere in that gray. So there's a lot of work, right? There's a lot of work, and in fact, I think I would tell myself to not hesitate to make work starting immediately. Like, there's nothing to Don't wait for permission. Really encourage myself to not be too hesitant about having a supporting career. I think that particularly as a female dancer, it is really rare to find a female dancer, especially in like the freelance world, who is able to subsist from their artistic income alone. And particularly with the funding structures, a lot of companies, even that were full-time companies, are now project by project. So even if I'm working full-time for a company, I'm not necessarily, that's not quite enough to live, especially in the insane economy of New York. So I think there's nothing shameful about having a supporting career. Nothing shameful at all. I think that for me, that has allowed myself to be a lot more selective with the art that I choose to do. Dance only for the companies that I feel are valuable and that I feel like I'm a valuable part of. Lock in with the communities that I want to. Continue my practice, take class every day, continue to make work and feel like I have the financial liberty to not be constrained by waiting for a grant to even get started. Just jump, I think jump so wholeheartedly and so fully, immediately, that there's nothing to wait for, there's no permission to gain, there's no approval to seek. It's a matter of just kind of getting your hands dirty as immediately as possible. And continuing to be interested in getting your hands dirty for as long as you can. The artists that I am most inspired by are the people who have been here the longest and who have been curious the longest and who have been developing themselves as artists in this place or elsewhere the longest. So a lot of it is just kind of about staying power and continuing to find the things that interest you so that you don't burn out so quickly, like I've seen so many people do, even in the past 6 years that I've been here.